Hi, welcome to Nature Journeying with Sherl Rose at the Tipton County Museum. I'm Barrie Foster. I'm director of the Tipton County Museum, and I'm an artist and I'm head of our art program here. And Sherl Rose has been working with us for a couple years now, and she is our naturalist. She's a master gardener, she's a pollinator expert, and she came to me late last year and said, Barrie, there was a course on nature journaling that I'd like to take. And I said, great. And I said, do you do art? And she said, well, I did in high school. So I said, good, we'll do this. So she worked very hard. It took her several months. She became certified in nature journaling with the Cornell Laboratory Ornithology. Sherl, I'd like to introduce you and have you tell the story about this.
Thank you, Barrie. Well, the story is not quite exactly like Barrie said. I didn't tell her I wanted to take the course. I told her there was a course available. And she jumped on that and she said, great, you can take it and then you can teach a class on it. So I have to be careful of what I say around her. But she pushed and shoved and encouraged, and so I started the course in January. And I am so glad that I did. I thank her every so often for pushing me into taking this course, because it's really just a natural extension of my position here as a naturalist. I'm here to teach people about nature, to take them out on the trail and show them all the wonders out there, the trees and the shrubs and the birds and things like that. So this was just, this just seemed to be the next step in what I do here. Also, as Barrie said, as a teenager, I did a little bit of art, just kind of sketching and things like that. But so I just got started. And it took about 6 months to do it, but
For your certification.
For my certification. And one thing I would like for people to know is you do not have to be an artist to take this this course. You do not have to draw well. You do not have to be a real, bird watcher or anything like that. This is more of it's a diary. It's a nature diary. So you're putting down your observations. Because of this pandemic and everybody having to be cooped up so much, we can get outdoors in the fresh air and nature and get some exercise, and it's just good for you mentally to get out and to observe nature, listen to the birds, watch the birds, see what plants are blooming, or watch the leaves turn in the fall. So it is also a great family project, because this is something, especially for the kids who are virtual learning or homeschooled kids, this is a great science-related project for them. Now, you don't have to have all of the equipment that I will be showing you. Basically, to get started, all you have to have is a pencil and a piece of paper. So, with that being said, there will be a supplies list that you will see at the end of this, just suggested supplies. You don't have to have any of them. You don't have to have all of them. But these are things that I have accumulated that I find that make my sketching easier. So to start out with, your paper. Just a mixed media pad, a spiral pad. This one I believe is a 7 by 10, and that's a good size because you want it to be portable, because you're going to be going outside and taking this with you. So just a spiral pad, your drawing tools. Like I said, all you have to have is just a regular graphite pencil, but using a number 7 or number 5 mechanical pencil is easier, because remember, you're going to be outside And if you take a regular graphite pencil, you got to take a sharpener with you too. So a mechanical pencil, you start running out of lead, you just click it and you got more lead. And something that is absolutely wonderful is one of these click erasers. Because I don't know about you, but I have done a lot of erasing, and I still do.
One of the things I'd like to mention is these click erasers. You can find these pretty easily at the grocery store. And I do a lot of artwork, and I go through a lot of these. So, yeah, those are great.
And of course, you can get your white vinyl erasers, and they can be picked up at the grocery store too. A kneaded eraser, it's great for removing graphite. You want a fine point permanent marker, and it can be any kind that you can find locally.
I do a lot of Sharpies.
And you can, if you're doing a lot of pencil sketching, a blending stump. And when you really get into it, like I have, a white gel pen is great for highlights. Putting that little spark of life in an eye, this is perfect. All you got to do is put that dot down there. Now, you can just journal with a graphite pencil and paper, but if you decide you want to add color, one of the easiest things to use is colored pencils. And a lot of people have colored pencils lying around from children's art projects or whatever, and you can use any kind of colored pencil. Since I've really gotten into this nature journaling, I have found some really, really nice ones that I use that really go down really nice and smoothly. But any type of colored pencil, and it can be a regular colored pencil, it can be a watercolor pencil. And we'll get into the watercolored pencils in some of our later lessons. But colored pencils, I've acquired quite a few since I've started this. And I had so many, I decided I'd better put them in a pencil box. So this is my collection of colored pencils right now. Also, if you're into watercolor or interested in watercolor, you can find online these watercolor fans. And they just fan out. There's a really good quality pigments in these paints. So you can use that. And the great thing with these is you don't have to lug around your brushes. It comes with, this is a water brush. And all you do, it has, the barrel is empty, and you fill it with water, you screw it back on, and take the top off, and you just squeeze it to dampen the bristles, and then you can use that to pick up your watercolor paint. This is very portable, and remember, that's what you want when you're outside nature journaling. You want portability. Another thing, when you're cleaning your brush, and all you have to do to clean that water brush is just squeeze it and wipe it on something. And this is something I learned from one of my instructors. He said, take one of your old socks, you cut the foot out, and you just roll it up and you put it on your wrist. So whenever you need to clean your brush, you just wipe it on your old sock.
And then you've got your knapsack.
When you decide you're going to go out with this, yes, you need something to carry your art supplies in. And I just happened to have this laying around, and it turned out to be perfect. It's a shoulder bag. It has all different kinds of pockets and things on it. I can adjust the strap, so I can put everything in this, sling it across my shoulder, and go for a hike. And then I will have everything that I need right there within arm's length.
All right, now Sherl, explain to me, or explain to everybody watching, what entails nature journaling. And I call it nature journeying because what I've experienced is a personal journey. And so, but there's a few elements of this, and there's no right or wrong way to do this, which I really liked.
Yes, this does not, there are no hard and fast rules to this. You just kind of, you pick up on what you need to do or want to do as you go along. Now, it is suggested when you're out and you're sketching, before you start sketching, you want to put data down. You want to put the date, the temperature, the weather conditions, and then you start your sketch. And the reason behind this being, when you go back in months or years later, you can look and you'll say, oh, I was here and I drew this on this date, and this is what the weather was like. So you've got this diary there of not only what you saw, but what the weather was like and how it felt outside.
So you're recording history.
Yes, exactly.
Which is also one of the things that we love to do. Now, one of the things, Sherl, that I had picked up on and watching all sorts of videos. Now, I'm not certified in this, but one of the things, and I've read your book that you loaned me, one of the things that kept popping out was meditation, mindfulness, and it brought peace to their soul. So tell me more about that.
Well, as psychologists, psychiatrists will tell you, being out in nature is one of the best things for your health. Fresh air will help lower your blood pressure. It just makes you feel better in general. Now, one of the things that one of the instructors taught was questions to ask yourself. And you write these questions down on the pages of your journal. And I keep them handy in my hardbound journal so that I can look at them every once in a while and remind myself what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I've written down, just on the inside cover, the goal of nature journaling is not to have a portfolio of pretty pictures, but to develop a tool to help you see wonder and remember your experiences. You can learn to do this. You do not need to be an artist or a naturalist. These are skills you will develop as you go, and the time to begin is now. Now, when you sit down and get in your sit spot, which is what we call it, and you park yourself somewhere on a riverbank or the side of a trail, these are the questions you ask yourself when you focus on something, whether it be a bird or a tree or a plant. I wonder, who is, was, will it be? What happened, is happening, or happens next? Where is, was, will it be? When, did, will it happen? How does it work? Why is it this way? So you're asking yourself scientific questions, really. So it's this ties in science along with nature, and it's also, it's good for your health, it's good for your mental health as well as your physical health.
One of the things also that kept popping up when I was going through and looking at all of this is it's not about the art. And for me as an artist, I'm like, well, kind of is for me, but it shouldn't be for everybody. And I've noticed your artwork has gotten really, really good. And you talk about pencil miles, and I would like for you to show people. I had asked Sherl to photocopy on cardstock examples of pages of hers, and so I would like for you to go over these a little bit with us.
All right.
Some of them are more elaborate than others with the notes, but they're all beautiful.
All right. Well, they're not in chronological order, but I'm going to point them out that way because I want you to see the progression. And like Barrie said, one of the instructors said, it's pencil miles. Drawing is not a gift. Drawing is a skill. The more you draw, the better you'll get. And I can testify to that because when I first started this, I was very rusty. I had not drawn since I was a teenager. That's been a long time ago. But it just came back. And the more I draw, I have seen that my artwork has improved. And like we've said, it's not about a pretty picture, but it's nice to have a pretty picture to look at. And some of them you may want to frame and put on your wall. I have one in my office wall now of a great egret that I drew and painted, and I like it. These egrets right here, these two, are some of my earlier drawings. This was in July. I had dated it, and I have the data, July 9th, 2020. It's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny with a heat index of 96 degrees. So when I go back and look at that journal page, I can kind of put myself back in that place and remember, yeah, it was kind of humid and hot, and the sun was shining full out. One of the next ones was a study I did on butterfly weed, and for those of you who know me, you know I love monarch butterflies and butterflies in general. And we have a beautiful little butterfly garden out front, and I was watching the butterfly weed as the monarch caterpillars were on it, and as it made seed pods and it dried, and I did a study of that. And so I have the leaves and the seed pod that's still green, but when they dry out they turn brown and they burst open, and then you get the little seeds, and they all have a parachute. So I drew a seed with the parachute, and then also I drew the empty seed pod. So there's a little study right there of the life cycle of butterfly weed. And also tying in with butterfly weed, I thought, well, I've got to draw a monarch life cycle. Well, I haven't gotten as far as the butterfly itself, but I started out with the chrysalis, which I think they're beautiful anyway. They look like carved jade with little gold dots. So I drew that. And this was all done with colored pencils. Colored pencils and that fine point marker. I have found that I love drawing egrets and herons, and I love owls too. They're my favorite bird. So I did a study on great herons and great egrets. I have this beautiful great blue heron right here. And one afternoon I was on the computer at home looking through some photos, and some kayaker had posted this black and white photo of an egret sitting out in a lake. And I thought, I really do like that. Let me see if I can do that. Well, I did it. And actually I had enough gray toned pencils that I did it all, and it looked like black and white. I did a class specifically on drawing owls and raptors. That's how the western screech owl came to be. I also love insects, and I'm always trying to teach people about the importance of our beneficial insects like ladybugs, so I did a ladybug. And put down some of the common names for it, gave it scientific name, and then I remembered an old children's rhyme that I learned as a child. Ladybug, ladybug, fly away home. Your house is on fire and your children do roam. So I put that at the bottom too. So when I see my ladybug picture, not only do I get the data that I put down on the page, but that little memory of my childhood. I love raptors. And when we did the raptor class that I did online, I learned to draw hawk and eagle heads. And so I did this red-tailed hawk, wanted to put some color on it. I'm always a little bit nervous when I start putting color on because the sketch will look really good, and I'm afraid if I put color on it, I'm going to mess it up. So I thought, well, I can always draw another one. But I did this one with marker, with gel pen, and with watercolors. And it turned out pretty well. I was pretty happy with it. The last one is my red fox. And that actually came from a Christmas card that I saw in a catalog. And I looked at it, and in the instructions that I learned in the course, I learned how to break things down into simple shapes first. And I saw that, and I broke it down to an oval and to a circle. and then I filled it in and then colored it, and it turned out pretty well. I'm pretty satisfied with it. And if I can do this, and I've never had any instruction until I took this course. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And you can pick up a pencil and just start drawing, and the more you draw, really the better you will get.
Thank you. One of the things I want to point out is the fact that you didn't do all of this live. She talked about seeing the picture of the egret on the internet. You talked about the Christmas card. And I just wanted to point out that you got me into this a little bit. And a couple of years ago, I started meditating, and I find that very helpful. And I kind of incorporated it with this nature journaling. Here is what I've done, and this is from a photo I took of a purple coneflower at the museum. And I was here one day, and I am not the scientist that Sherl is. And so I'd like to read to you what I wrote. Museum coneflower. This was on July 22nd from a photo. And I was listening to opera radio, internet radio. And I wrote here that I was drawn to the cast shadows on the petals. I used watercolor pencils, mostly Faber-Castell, and here's what I use. My watercolor pencils. I have a watercolor brush I use at the museum, I keep here. And Sherl's got the fancy pencils. I've got the ones that that my husband, who's a pharmacist, retired pharmacy professor, he used to get a lot of things with drug company names on them. So this one is one of those. And again, this. And another one I wanted to share with you was the clouds at the museum one day. We were closed, and there was beautiful clouds over the flagpoles out front. And I took a picture of that, and I actually sat outside on the bench at the memorial, and this is what I wrote. Just finished a quick meditation session outdoors. I snapped a photo of the clouds, a storm that's on its way, still listening to opera. And I was listening to Ave Maria, and I wrote, all is quiet in the museum, we are closed, and I'm the only one here. And I wrote, I enjoy these days. And this one was on 7/22 at 1:30 in the afternoon. And again, I do things differently from you. I'm not into scientific reconstruction, I guess. And even in my own artwork, I'm more into impressions. I'm very loose. I love a lot of color, a lot of contrast. And this, for me, was a great way to incorporate my meditation and doing this. And I don't use colored pencils a lot or watercolor pencils, but I enjoy this. And I'm excited about you teaching the course. Now, what we've talked about is today there's no demonstrations. It's just what is this thing called nature journaling, which I call nature journeying. And so upcoming soon, Sherl is going to be giving specific lessons on how to nature journal and draw a specific thing. And then once the universe opens up, we're going to be incorporating that into our art classes here, because in the past we've had a Wednesday morning art class from 9:30 to 11:30, and then that was my class, and then Barb McBride is taught Friday mornings from 9:30 to 11:30. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this right in with the art classes once they start up again. Tell us some of the early lessons. We're not going to tell you which one exactly is going to be first, but tell us some of the early things on our videos so people can kind of get excited about that.
We're going to try to start out with something really simple, really easy that anyone that can hold a pencil, 3 or 4 years old all the way up can do. We're going to draw leaves, but you'll find out when we actually do the demo more about it. But this will be something very easy, something you can kind of ease into this nature journaling with, and it very satisfying. And not only that, especially if you have your children doing it, they're going to learn things. They're going to learn about the different types of leaves. Now that autumn is coming on, we're going to have different colors in the leaves. Well, there's a question there. Why do the leaves change? So this is how you incorporate the science into this. And of course, like Barrie said, the information. And this isn't just the drawing and just putting the data down, but like she wrote how she felt. And that's another thing. Some people write poems on their nature journal pages. Some people write more than draw. Some people draw more than write. There's no right way or wrong way to this. This is just doing something that is good for your soul. Getting out in nature is very good for your soul.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really excited about this. And after we kind of cut our teeth on easier things, we're going to graduate up and we're going to do that red fox.
Ooh.
Which is since I have learned the methods on how to break down shapes and simplify it, it really, really makes it a lot easier. It's not nearly as complicated as you would think. So that's just a couple of things, but we'll learn how to draw trees and tree branches and landscapes and all kinds of great things outside and inside. When winter comes on and it's too cold to get outside, you can sit at your window and you can watch the birds if you have a bird feeder, things like that. So you don't have to be outside all the time to do this, but when the weather's nice, you can surely get outside and enjoy the weather and do some sketching while you're out there.
Well, thank you, Sherl. I'm real excited. I'm so thrilled that you posed that question late last year, because here you are, you're teaching it, and the whole community is benefiting from it, which is exciting to me. So thank you, and we hope to see you at the Tipton County Museum.